The previous video showed how to create a new ASP.NET MVC controller with actions that contain the logic that drives the application. The particular action that it demonstrated called the viewHelper method to indicate to the ASP.NET MVC framework that it should show the user a particular view. But the framework got pretty upset because that view didn't exist. This video will pick up where we left off and show how to create an ASP.NET MVC view that the framework can display and populate it with some basic HTML so that by the end of the video, we'll be able to show a fully functioning web page. Adding a new view to your ASP.NET MVC website is actually quite easy. Simply right-click on the controller action that you wish to add a view for and choose the Add View menu option. Visual Studio will then prompt you with a small wizard that you can use to control what kind of view Visual Studio will generate for you. We'll talk about all of these options throughout the rest of the course, but for now we will start simple and just accept the default values and continue on by clicking Add. Visual Studio will then create a new view called Index and open the view for us. It is in this view that we will add the content that will be rendered to the browser and displayed to our users. Despite the fact that the view that Visual Studio creates for us only contains a few lines, those few lines demonstrate a few very important features. To begin with, it uses the @open bracket symbol to indicate the start of a code block, then closes this code block with a closing bracket a few lines down. While most of the content that you write in a view will be rendered to the browser, code blocks such as this are used to execute code within your view without rendering anything to the response. This particular code block has just one line of code, viewbag.title equals index, which sets the value of the title property on the view's viewbag object. We'll discuss what this bit of code does in a few chapters, but for now, all you need to know is that it's a valid line of C# code, and that if you want to add more C# code to your view, here is where you do it. The rest of the view contains the content that is going to get rendered to the browser. For now, it just consists of a single line of simple HTML markup, an h2 tag with the title of the page. But don't worry, we'll add a whole lot more to this view very soon. To see this view in action, execute the website, and again navigate to the /auctions/index URL that we saw before. This time, you can see the full result of our work over the past few videos. The auctions controller handled the request and told the ASP.NET MVC framework to render the view that we just created. You can verify that it's the view we just created by switching back to Visual Studio, editing the markup in the view, saving it, and then refreshing the page. Your changes should appear instantly. While it's pretty exciting to see your custom controller and view in action, let's take a step back to review what we've seen so far. This video showed you how to create and edit ASP.NET MVC views, and the previous video showed you how to create the controller actions that tell ASP.NET MVC to display those views. But there's still one piece left in the puzzle, and that is, how did ASP.NET MVC know that the index action on the auctions controller was the correct controller action to handle the request? The answer to this question is request routing, which also happens to be the topic of the next video, so continue watching to see how all the pieces of the puzzle fit together.